Hey everybody, welcome out to the second part of the six-part series on managing troop finances. Each session in the series will be approximately 30 minutes long, and then we'll have time at the end where you can ask questions and staff will respond either live during the training, or if you ask it during the recording, then we'll be able to answer you after that. So we have a guest host with us today. Um, you can see her over here, Sandy Greenhow. She is the member experience manager for the, where are we?
Eastern West Virginia.
Yeah, Eastern West Virginia. She is here based out of the council office. I am Sean Caston, volunteer resource manager for Girl Scouts, and I am your host. And tonight, Sandy's going to be your hostess. We're going to be talking a little bit about managing troop finances, more on the troop level and not so much on the council level, but we'll be bouncing back and forth. So we have a couple staff in the discussion log, including Denise Davis, who is our go-to person for all things product sales related. So she's out there. Say hi to her. Everybody say hi to her. Yay, hi.
Hey, Denise.
All right, today's session is for troop leaders, assistant leaders, and troop treasurers. We're going to be recording this and sending it out onto the website so that all the treasurers can get it. We do require this training for all money handling positions when you first start out the troop, so you know what to expect. But then you'll want to review it once again once your troop actually has some money and you need to find out what to do with it. We will provide a link at the end to get training credit for each session in the series in order to get the full training credit for managing troop finances. There is a shorter session that you can complete online, and then once this training is completed, all of these series episodes are out, we're going to combine it into a shorter training that just has the bare bones essentials, and then you'll be able to take that for credit. In order to get the full credit for taking these series, though, you need to take all 5 of the regular ones, and then we have the optional 6th one, which is for iGirls. We know a lot of the troop leaders don't ever interact or have iGirls because they're in a troop. So you don't have to take that final 6th one to get credit. If you have 1 through 5, you're good. Okay. The live sessions are really meant for discussion starters and questions, more so than actual training. We're giving you the training, but you're able to interact with each other. You can ask questions in the question log. Denise is out there answering questions. I saw Stacy out there in the questions log. And of course, Sandy and I will be trying to catch questions as they come up, if we can catch them as they come up. All right. Today's session will include discussion on budgeting, dues, and proceeds from product sales. Okay. If you have any questions along the way, make sure to comment in the discussion log, and we'll get to them as we can get to them. All right, so let's get started. The mission of Girl Scouting is to build girls of courage, confidence, and character who make the world a better place. This happens when girls make decisions, actively participate, and connect with other girls in a group setting. It's our job as staff and volunteers to provide all the tools necessary to do this. Helping girls decide what they want to do and coaching them as they earn and manage money to pursue their goals is an integral part of the Girl Scout leadership experience. Your troop plans and finances its own activities with your guidance. At the same time, the girls learn many valuable skills that will serve them throughout their lifetime. There are lots of materials to guide you on what Girl Scouts do, but the most important thing to remember is how Girl Scouts do things. We want troop programs to aim for the following. We want them to be girl-led, which means the girls make some of the choices, all of the choices, depending on their grade levels. They make plans and they help to lead the others in the group. Even the tiniest little girls can have some decision that they can help out with. Hands-on means they should be actively engaged, not just sitting and watching and listening. Cooperative activities, meaning that they work together as a team to accomplish big things. Research shows that these 3 primary ways of engaging help girls grow in confidence and courage while building new skills and friendships that will last them a lifetime. It is surprisingly easy for adults to make decisions for girls and to allow them to become passive observers. Keep girls' interests at the forefront of your mind. While finances are big people business, it's also important to keep our girls and families in the loop with all financial decisions. Our goal is complete transparency. We want girls to be involved in deciding how they earn funds and what the funds should go for. We just need to give them boundaries and choices. As Girl Scouts, we want to base everything we do on the Girl Scout Promise and Law. In managing troop finances, we always want to remember these principles and let our decisions reflect on the Promise and Law. Some important pieces of the Promise and Law that apply to finances is the honest and fair piece. We have to be honest, we have to be fair, or, it's not Girl Scouts. We have to be responsible for what we say and do. We don't want to do something and then deny it. We have to own up for our actions. And then we have to use resources wisely. We're only given a set amount of money, a set amount of resources, and we have to use them the best way possible. We can't waste things because we have a limited supply of things. All right, from the first episode, we talked about the volunteer policies. These are policies that we require our volunteers to follow. There's sections on ethics, risk management and safety, volunteer management, financial accountability, money earning, girl programming, and communications. In the risk management section, it lists actions that may be the grounds for disqualification, or volunteer restrictions, or release from volunteer assignment. This list includes, but is not limited to, refusal to provide an approved background check, falsifying or making material omissions on council records, misappropriation of any Girl Scout funds, which includes unpaid volunteer debt from product sales programs, shoplifting, fraud, false pretenses, embezzlement, theft, forgery, and worthless checks. Girl Scouts of Black Diamond reserves the right to disqualify and or release any volunteer from service if the volunteer or prospective volunteer's actions are inconsistent with Girl Scout values, principles, policies, or procedures. Last episode, we also talked about what troop resources can be used for. When we look at budgeting for the troop year, we encourage yearly memberships to be budgeted for first out of the troop funds to provide the Girl Scout experience for the next year. We also talked about using the money for events, badges, patches, trips, snacks for meetings, supplies, whether it's just general supplies for the meetings or specifically like archery equipment or stuff like that. But the main thing with memberships is you want to remember that troops are designed to be self-sufficient. Once you become a member, your membership should take care of itself each year through product sales and money earning activities. It's the volunteer leadership's responsibility to ensure that you have memberships taken care of before you start budgeting for Disney World. And that'll come into play in today's session where we talk about budgeting and how you budget, where do you start to come up with the troop budget. The remainder of the expenses can be lumped into a few categories, and it makes keeping track of finances so much easier. We have a great resource for you guys to keep track of your troop finances. If you go to our website and go to, of course, www.bdgsc.org, you can go to the volunteer tab and then down to volunteer resources, and there's a great resource there. Let me flip. Then you're going to scroll all the way down to troop transaction spreadsheet. Okay, there's a green link there with the troop transaction spreadsheet. You click on that and it comes up, and you can open it with Microsoft Excel, Google Sheets, Open Office, or there's a multitude of other free programs and apps that you can use to open the spreadsheet with. And then you just save it to your hard drive and you can keep track of all of your troop finances. It's a little bit different than the volunteer toolkit finance piece, which we will go over in 2 sessions from now. We'll go over that in detail, so you'll have a way better understanding of what the difference of the two is and how to use both of them together. But for now, just know that this is how you get to the troop transaction spreadsheet. And we're going to look specifically at the categories that are available on the troop transaction spreadsheet. Once you open that sheet, you'll see two tabs, one for the troop finance record and one for print form. We're going to focus on the troop finance record tab for now. There are two sections of that troop finance record, the transaction register for cash, check, and credit card transactions. And there's also a list of categories that you can classify. Yeah, there we go. You can classify the different categories of each transaction. You use it just like a checkbook register. You fill out the date, description, category, and the amount taken out or put in, and the new balance is automatically totaled for you. Not only that, but it carries over to the second tab, which completes your end of the year finance report automatically for you. The list on the right on the screen now shows both income and expense categories. You can and should have income and expenses for most of these items. For example, the cookie sale deposit is going to be an income, and the cookie sale payment is going to be I always want to say an outcome, but it's an outgoing expense. All right, here's an example of the troop transaction spreadsheet that's already filled out. This is a new troop, so they don't have a previous balance up in the yellow square at the top. To complete this form, you just need to fill out the date, payee, or description, the category, and the amount taken in or pulled out. The balance is automatically calculated for you. We will go over this in detail on the second training from now. Next week, we're going to talk about money earning activities, so that's going to be a big session. And then the week after that, we will talk about the troop transaction spreadsheet and the volunteer toolkit and the end of the year reports. Okay, so now that we know about this awesome tool, we're going to look at budgeting 101. Okay, this is essential information that most people learn in high school, maybe even middle school. You learn the economics of budgeting in the lower grades. And if you're a Girl Scout, it's built into our programming. You look at what do you have to pay for, how much do you have, and how do you get the remainder. These are the three essential questions that we need to look at whenever we deal with troop budgets. So what do we need to pay for? Okay, you look at essential things like memberships, meeting place. If your building that you're in charges you to be there, you need to make sure you have that paid for. You have to look at supplies, pencils, paper, pens, all that kind of stuff, crayons. What do you need for supplies? Essential. Background checks. If you have volunteers that need their background checks, you can pay for those out of troop funds. Trainings. If you have volunteers who need trainings, use the troop funds to pay for that. But also keep in mind that whatever you use for adults does not go toward the girls, even though it indirectly does because you're qualifying that volunteer and training that volunteer. But just keep that in mind, that if you're using it for an adult, it does not directly go into the girls. So just something to keep in mind. And the last thing that I came up with what's the essential things we need to pay for, things like badges, patches, that kind of stuff, uniforms. If your troop pays for uniforms for all your girls, you can do that. But those are essential things. Non-essential things that you have to pay for, if you do trips, those aren't always essential. They could be secondary. Specialized equipment. We talked about archery equipment, stuff like that. And then non-essential patches like fun patches, stuff like that. But the thing is, you need to sit down and really think about with your troop, the girls and your volunteers, what are the essentials? What does my troop hold as absolute essentials? What are non-essentials but we really like to have? And what are some things that we know we're not going to have the budget for, but we want to have a wish list? And a couple of volunteers have suggested the idea of doing an Amazon wish list, where you actually go through and you put stuff on there that you want your troop to have if you had the funds to do it. And that's a great way for parents to get involved, because they can log into that, they can see what's available, and they can, if they feel like they want to buy something, they can buy something and donate it to the troop. You give them a wish list and they'll provide it, hopefully. All right, the second question is, how much money do we have? So if you're a returning troop, you want to look at what funds are left over from last year. Ideally, last week we talked about how you're supposed to use the money from this year for this year's girls. But we also talked about how there's an exception where if your troop is planning a long-term trip, you can save money for that. And the other exception was if you're getting seed money for the next year. And that's where we're saying the funds from last year, if you have them available, that's your seed money for this year. Where else do you get money from? Most of the time it's going to be the troop leader's own pockets. Whether you get refunded later on or you just, you donate it. But that's what happens when troop leaders either don't plan or their plans fall through. You end up paying for it out of your own pocket. But it doesn't have to be that way. If we don't have enough money, how do we get the remainder? Okay, we're going to take a look at today and also at next session about how to get the finances and resources that troops need to have an awesome Girl Scout year. So the first way to do a little to get a little funding, I almost said fundraising.
Yeah.
How dare me? Wow. The first way to get a little funding is to involve girls in money earning, is to ask for troop dues. Okay, dues are a small fee that the troop collects to be part of that troop. Okay, each girl contributes. Troops are not required to collect dues. You do not have to turn them in. You do have to turn in your reporting for them. But, we do not say every troop has to have troop dues. Okay, but you have the option to collect them. If a troop does collect dues, they will require the fee, but they also need to realize that not every girl is going to be able to pay even just a small amount. Okay, always remember to be sensitive to this when dealing with money and fees in general. Okay, even if it's a trip that you're going to take. If you know that some of your girls cannot afford to take the trip, you need to make sure that you have something in place to help them get to where they can go with you guys on the troop. We always want to be really sensitive to financial issues because of where we live. West Virginia, Ohio, Maryland, Virginia, they're all lower income areas, and we always have to keep that in mind that some girls just may not be able to afford to do everything that we do. So we need to help them as much as possible. All right, so don't always assume that a girl will be able to just ask for money from her parents or guardians and get it. Okay, a lot of times we get the mentality from schools that they can just go home and ask their parents to buy 20 rolls of wrapping paper or something like that. But we can't do that. We have to assume some other way. We have to assume that we're going to help these girls to get the funding that they need. All right, so some troops collect dues at every meeting. Some collect once a month. Some collect once a year. I polled Facebook, got a lot of answers, a lot of different answers. Most of the troops didn't collect some sort of dues, but we do have some that do. We do have some that do, yeah. Yeah, okay. Wow, it's been a long day. Troops have a variety of amounts they collect for dues also. So they may collect 50 cents from every girl at each meeting. Some go up to $1 a meeting. Some troops collect a flat fee of anywhere from $5 up to $25 per girl per year. And remember that the troop dues are in addition to the $25 membership fee for first-time girls. So if your troop is set up so that you pay for all of your returning girls, but all your first-time girls, they have to pay for their own, that's how you're set up. But dues are something completely separate from membership unless you build it into your troop that way that the dues cover your membership. But then they're still just paying for their membership, so you might as well just call it membership. But anyway, okay, so you just need to talk to your girls and your parents and guardians, as well as your troop leadership, and see what your troop wants to do. Do you want to do the per meeting? Do you want to do flat fees? And then how much do you want to charge? And also, how do you do it in a way that you don't put girls on the spot? You want to make it so it's a group thing and not so much a well, this girl didn't give 50 cents kind of issue. You don't want to put girls against each other. You want it to be a group taking care of each other. And you can always decide not to take dues, or you can take them until the product sale starts, and then you can stop taking dues once you get some funding coming in. It's up to you guys. You just really need to talk and figure out what you need to do. But troop dues are always an option, and you can always do them. Remember that you as a troop leader are going to be held accountable for every income item and every expense item. Okay, when you're filling out your troop transaction spreadsheet that we talked about earlier, or your volunteer toolkit finance tab, you will need to document all your income from troop dues. Okay, there's a line item on there for troop dues, and you have to put them coming in, and then they go into the general bank account, and you count them going out into whatever category you put them in. You will need to. It is also a good idea to itemize how much each girl has given over the year. You never know when this is going to solve an issue later on. Hopefully it won't, but you just want to keep track of how much each girl has given. Don't make it public, anything like that, but you just want to be able to support documentation. Anything you can do to document something is going to be better in the long run. All right, so if you do not do, or even if you do troop dues, another way that your troop is going to be able to earn some proceeds, some funding, is to do the product sales. Okay, we have 2 council product sales. One of them is starting right now, and that's the fall product sale, where we have excellent salt and pepper cashews. They're the best in the world. I love them to death. And there's also the peanut butter bears, I think, or monkeys. They're monkeys, yeah. Yeah, there's all kinds of good stuff in there. And then we have the annual cookie sale. Okay, the cookie sale is required. If you are a troop, we really would like for you to be involved in the cookie sale. That is a great opportunity for you guys to be out in the community, interacting with the community, and also to raise funding. Okay, troop participation in the fall product sale is encouraged, but it is not mandatory. Okay, you're just giving the girls another chance to earn more proceeds, and also to use the skills that they've learned. Managing money, the soft skills of talking to people, approaching them about buying things. You just give them another opportunity. All right. Troops must have participated in the cookie sale and the fall product sale to be considered for additional money earning projects. Okay, we're going to talk the whole session next week about money earning project or money earning activities. So we're not going to touch on that too much here, but just to let you know that if your troop starts after the fall sale, you do not have to participate in the fall sale. Obviously, you can go ahead and do money earning activities up until the cookie sale, and then you'll have to do a cookie sale. But that is the only exception, that if your troop starts after the fall sale, then you do not have to do it in order to participate in additional money earning activities. Okay, as we will go over in next week's sessions, there are rules and guidelines for additional money earning activities. One of which is that your additional money earning activity must be approved by your member experience manager. And for those of you in my area down here, that's Sandy. Hi, Sandy.
Hello.
So it has to be approved by your member experience manager 30 days before the activity.
That's changed.
Okay. That's what Becky told me today.
It used to be 2 weeks.
Oh, yeah. It used to be 2 weeks. It is 30 days.
Okay.
So, and the majority of the time, you're going to get approved as long as you follow the guidelines. You just need to make sure that you're not doing something crazy or something in the wrong time period. And we'll go over all of that next week. Roberta will be back with us next week, and she will give us the definitive answers on all things money earning activities. But if you would like to do you have to do an application for additional money earning activities, and that link is at the bottom of the page here, and I will also post it into the discussion log as soon as I get a couple more screens down so that I can get to it. All right, so that's it on that one. All right, before we start the next one, let's take a look in the question log and see if there's anybody with questions. My screen's kind of bunched up and it's kind of hard to see, so let me refresh it here. I don't see any questions. Let me go ahead and post that application for money earning in there. It's on the website. If you go to forms and then type in additional money earning, I think it is. But there it goes. Okay, so that link is in there. I would know some Girl Scouts if you like to place an order. Okay, somebody wants to place an order. Yay. Oh, everybody's saying hi to everybody. Okay. All right. So we're going to cover very quickly some booth safety, booth sale money safety, because part of your role as a volunteer is to keep the money safe and also to keep products safe. So make sure that you are never leaving money in plain sight. You know, you don't want to leave it out where people can just grab a hold of it and run away with it. You know, keep it secure. Never walk away from the money. You know, if you're leaving, take the money with you, obviously. I don't know why you wouldn't. Once you hit an uncomfortable amount, I would lock it in the trunk of your car. That's up to you what an uncomfortable amount would be. You know, the suggestion that I would give is whatever your starting money is, you want to keep an eye on how much you're taking in, and when you get to that amount, drop it so you get back down to that amount. I know at a booth sale that's kind of hard to do because you're not really keeping track of it. You're just taking money left and right. But, you know, you want to have an idea of how much money you have and, you know, more than you want to pay back, because if it gets stolen, then you're going to have to pay it back. So you need to make sure that whenever you get to that uncomfortable amount, that you take it, secure it, lock it in the trunk of your car, deposit it in the bank, whatever, you know, because you are responsible for it. If you take checks, make sure you require that they write GS, BDC, Troop, whatever in the memo, or when you collect the checks, you go through and write it in the memo so that we know which troop took in the money so that we know how to track it back. Sandy, if you have anything along the way, just jump on in.
Right, you're doing fine.
Okay. All right, so additional booth money safety. Always have an adult taking care of the excess money. Girls can do transactions. So if you have to leave with some money, make sure it always goes with an adult. And always have 2 adults count the money at the close of the day. Okay. And I didn't even mention it here, but I kind of assumed it. Always make sure that your background checked, screened volunteers are the ones that are working with the money. Even if you have additional troop chaperones, etc., at the booth sale, make sure you have your core, the adults who are background checked and have their positions with the booth sales. Also, it's just another preventative measure. All right, so make frequent deposits. You know, anything can happen. If you have all this money at your house could be broken into. You could have a house fire, etc. Remember that you are financially responsible without a police report. So if somebody steals the money, you need to get a police report. You need to notify council right away so that they can get it documented and taken care of. But you are responsible for whatever money comes into the troop. So you need to make sure to keep that. All right, make sure your troop number is on the front of the deposit and make sure the addition is correct. I would have to work at that because my math is definitely not my strong suit. I even mess it up with a calculator, if you believe that. But anyway, make sure you have all cash and checks with the deposits, and you deposit it in the bank to get it out of your hands. Write each check on the deposit slip. You can use the check number or the name, and list the troop leader on the deposit. All right, now we get into the hard edge. Delinquency is considered theft. If you or your parents are delinquent on your payment, you basically have stolen troop money and council money. Okay, we there's a hard line there. If you have delinquent parents, as soon as you know that they're delinquent parents, as soon as the sale is over, money has not been paid, you need to turn in your delinquent parents. Okay, and if you're a troop leader, you've been through the fall product training and the cookie training, you know how to do that process. We're not going to go over it today because we've had additional training on that. But, it is your responsibility as a troop leader to get that delinquent parent turned in so that the money is not accounted to you. Okay. A letter will be sent to the parent within days of the delinquency form being received. They're listed in our membership system. They're flagged so that we know that if they ever want to be an approved volunteer, they're going to have to explain why they didn't pay this money back, and then they're going to have to pay that money back before they can volunteer with us. If no response, the letter is sent from an attorney. Okay, so it gets escalated up to an attorney. If still no response, the attorney files legal action. Okay, so there are serious consequences for not turning in your money on time. Consequences after the fact: they cannot volunteer with Girl Scouts in an official capacity. Legal action we talked about, including up to and including jail time, dependent on the amount owed. But Black Diamond does reserve the right to approve a volunteer if a payment plan is being followed. That does not mean that they're always going to, but if a payment plan is being set and the payment plan is being followed, we can approve them for their positions. But it's best to just not get into that position. All right, so impact on the girls. With delinquency and with unpaid debt, girls will not receive their incentives. Girls will lose their leaders. Girls will not learn financial management, and girls will not receive the proceeds from the sale. Okay, so those are 4 big things that you do not want to happen to your girls. So you want to make sure you get your payments turned in on time so that you can not have that happen. Okay, so from the cookie sale, these are last year's numbers because we haven't gotten this year's yet. The $4 cookie box, the troop gets 65 cents out of that box. Okay, and all the other costs are listed there. But for every box that you sell, you get 65 cents. Okay. In the $5 box, the troop proceeds 65 cents. Okay, you can see the breakdown of how it's broken down. And there's also a program called Super Troop, which it's kind of my baby because I manage it. But we've broken it up into 5 phases, and if you do all of the phases and you participate in the fall product sale, and you also increase your initial cookie sale over last year by 5%, then you qualify for an additional 5 cents per box of cookies. Okay, so that brings it up to 70 cents a box that your troop can get just by selling a box of cookies. All right, as we stated before, as Girl Scouts, we want to base everything we do on the Girl Scout Promise and Law. In managing troop finances, we always want to remember these principles and let our decisions reflect the essential elements of Girl Scouting. We always want to be honest and fair, responsible for what we say and do, and we want to use our resources wisely. If we keep these and all the elements in mind, we will keep ourselves, our troop, and the council above suspicion. All right, so this was the second in a series of 6 really sessions in managing troop finances. Today we talked about the response. Well, that was last week. Wow, I didn't update that. All right, so today we talked about budgeting, dues, and how to handle some of the proceeds from product sales. Okay, on October the 3rd, we're going to be looking at supplemental money earning activities and sponsorships and donations. Okay, these are 2 additional ways that your troop can come up with the funding that's needed for the troop to carry out all the activities of the troop. Okay, October 10th, we're going to look at recording and reporting finances. This is where we're going to take a deep dive into the troop transaction spreadsheet and the volunteer toolkit finance tab and really look at how they relate to each other. And we're also going to look at the end of the year reporting and how easy it is to just pull that end of the year report straight out of the troop transaction spreadsheet and the volunteer toolkit. And the 17th, we're going to look at troop disbandment, transfers, splits, and merges and see what happens in each one of those cases. Where does the money go? How do you report that? And then on the 24th is the iGirl Finance session, which is, again, optional. You do not have to attend that one to get the full training credit. But we're going to take everything that we've already looked at and apply it to iGirls. So if you have iGirls or you know somebody who is an iGirl chaperone, that's going to be a great learning for you guys. And it's optional. You do not have to take it for the rest of you guys. But if you do have iGirls, you'll need to watch that. We've never really had a full, complete, this is how you manage money for iGirls training. So that's going to be new and exciting, and I hope you guys join us for it. Let's take a look over at the question log real quick. Which participation patch do the girls need to be considered participating in fall product sales? Okay, so fall product sales, in order to participate in fall product sales, at least one girl in your troop needs to sell one item. Okay, that is considered participation. If you've got more than a penny in your in the system for the fall product, as far as Super Troop goes, then you are considered participating in the fall product sale. We'd like for you to sell like $1 million, but as long as somebody in your group is participating, then you are considered in the running for Super Troop. Yeah, I know it's kind of hard, Marissa, but you do what you can. Let's see what else we got. Can a troop choose to have more earnings instead of incentives for fall product sales? I do know that for cookies, you can do that. Denise has already moved over to the fall product live webinar tonight, so we can't ask her now. But I will check into that for you and see exactly what the breakdown is. Do you know?
There
Sandy?
is no extra money earning like cookies.
Okay, so you're saying that they can't do that for fall product?
No.
Okay.
Not in fall product. The only place you can do that is cookies.
Okay, so there we go from Sandy G, which I'm pretty good with that decision or that reporting. So we're gonna go with you can't do the separation from the fall product sales and get different incentives or additional products. You can do that for the cookies, and I've worked with that system and I know that is possible. I'm just not, I personally wasn't sure about fall products, but
Fall products, no.
just fall
Only
products,
for
no.
cookies.
All right.
And for cookies, it's only for cadets and up.
Okay, so cookies, cadets, and up can opt for that optional. It's what,
10 cents.
10 cents?
Mhm.
Okay, good to know. All right. And I see what you were doing, Marissa. You were answering the question, and I thought you were saying that you couldn't earn $1 million, but the participation patch, okay, that's going to be completely different, and that's not something that I'm familiar with. Do you know anything about the participation patch, 50%?
No.
No, yeah, I don't either. We will have to get some confirmation on that from
I don't have
Denise.
the book in front of me.
It is something completely different. It has nothing to do with Super Troop. Super Troop, as long as they sell one item, then you're qualified for Super Troop. Any other questions out there? If you have questions for Sandy G, you can ask her too. She's fun. I like hanging out with her.
Yeah. But I don't have the incentive book for the fall product sales to see exactly what the breakdown is for the incentives.
So if you have any other questions about fall product, you can email customer care. Actually, I think that's maybe, no, not the next slide. Okay. All right, so we'll go on, and then we'll talk about email and customer care in a little bit. To receive training credit for today, there is a form that you fill out, and I'm going to post the link in the whatever it's called, chat box, or discussion log, questions log, whatever it is. Click on that link, or if you can't click on it, some people had problems last time just touching it or clicking on it. You may have to copy that link and then paste it into the browser to get it to work. Or you can just type it in. It's written out on the screen. I broke it down so it's nice and easy to remember. And the training credit for today's training. Oh, sorry. This is how to fill out the form. You have to pick the training that you complete, and the date automatically pops up. Fill in all the required fields that have the little red asterisk on it. It'll ask you, make sure you put your correct email in there, because it will email you a certificate that you finished the form or you finished the training. And it will ask you for a code. Okay. So the course that you're going to pick is Managing Troop Finances 202. Make sure you pick part 2. Okay, the code that I'm about to give you will only work with Managing Troop Finances 202 part 2. Okay, so make sure you do that. And the code is MTF, which stands for Managing Troop Finances. Pretty creative. And then the course number, which is 202. And this is session 2. So you got MTF 2022 and then the word training. Okay, make sure it's all lowercase and all together, one word, one straight line. Okay, like it says at the bottom, it's only good for this course, and you are also on your honor not to give this code to people who haven't taken the training. Okay, so make sure that you guard it with your life. No, just kidding. But we do want to make sure that everybody actually takes the training. This is the longer version of it, where we try to put more suggestions and not so much just requirements. So, you have to take all 5 of these to get the full credit for this course. So make sure you do get that. If you have any problems at all, if you can't get it to work, just email customer care at bdgsc.org. Tell them that you completed the training and you entered the code, put the code in the email that you sent to customer care, and they will probably send it to me, and then I will go in and give you credit for the course. But it should be working. I had several people verify it, so you should be okay. Let's see, any other questions? Yes, Marissa, that is a good point. Okay, she said that she had to physically split her troop in order to get the incentives. So if you've got a multi-level troop and you really want your older girls to get different incentives, or they want the more money, then you split into 2 groups. Give one of them whatever troop number, and then the other one maybe one higher. So you get your troop number from council. You can request. Sometimes you can get in consecutive order troops. But that's one way to do it, is to physically split your troop into different troops, and just remember that you can't split them and then merge them and then split them only during the product sale seasons. You have to keep them together after that point, unless there's a really good reason for joining them back together. Did you guys give us credit for the last week ones that we did? Rebecca, I will check to make sure that you got yours, but we actually fixed it just as we were going offline last week. So if you went in and did it right at the end of the training last week, you were able to get into the credit, because, we accidentally had a little incident where we couldn't get it to work. Not blaming anybody, it was my fault. But it was fixed. So if you did not receive the email, then you will need to fill it out again. But Rebecca, I will check on yours specifically, and if you haven't gotten credit for it, I will go in and give you the credit for it and send it to you, because we have your email on file and everything, so I can get it that way. But any other questions? We're just at the 6:45. Oh, hey Denise, you're back! Yay! Denise, can you confirm for us? Sandy basically confirmed it, but I just want to double check with you that there is no way for a troop to get more profit from the fall product sale like we do for the cookie sale. So if you can answer back that, we will have a definitive answer. Not that yours is not definitive,
Exactly.
but since Denise is back, we want to make sure that we're telling them the right thing. So you can go ahead and just comment in the answer log whenever you get an answer. We're going to go ahead and wrap up. The last thing is customer care. If you have questions, you're not sure who you're supposed to contact for something, your first thought should always be, I'll contact customer care, because they really are the people you need to talk to. Okay. Even though Denise is the product sales person, you don't have to contact her directly for every little thing. You can send your questions to customer care. They have access to the same resources that Denise has, and sometimes even more than Denise has. So, they are able to look stuff up. They can tell you, and you don't have to, not everybody has to go to Denise. Only the higher level questions that really need specific answers can be escalated up to Denise or any other staff member. So just a general question that you have, you can always get a hold of customer care. If they can't handle it, they will take care of getting it to whoever it needs to go to. Okay, you don't have to worry about calling somebody else or anything like that. They will take care of fielding it out to whoever it needs to go to. So the customer care phone number is 304-345-7722, and you can email customercare@bdgsc.org. Okay, I'll go back to the training credit slide and leave it up on the screen for a little bit. We're going to go ahead and close out if there's no more questions. And Denise confirmed, not with fall product. Okay, so good job, Sandy. You paid attention. Yay. Okay. All right, so we are going to close out. Thank you guys for attending today. Make sure you do the credit. You should receive that email with the confirmation. It's a printable PDF that you can print off. Hang it on your wall if you really want to. It's just one of those things that you get a certificate. But anyway, if you have any questions, you can keep on commenting. We'll answer them as we get to them. But have a great day, and thanks for hanging out with us.